Hey lovebirds, welcome to your Love Empowerment Hour with Tristen and CC. You are now
Sitting with the Suttons.
And we're all about making marriage great again. And tonight we're really glad to be with you on this rainy Houston Wednesday evening. We hope you are safe and sound and snuggled and dry.
Raindrop.
And if you're not, hurry home. Please hurry home safely. We have a good hour here for you tonight. Tonight we are going to be talking about finances.
Money.
For richer or for poor.
Break it up.
If this is a challenge for your marriage, for your relationship right now, we invite you to tune in, get your honey, get a pen and paper.
Tag a friend, share this video, because if you got some friends going through financially and it's affecting their marriage, this is the episode for them, so we're going to talk all about that.
Look, don't be ashamed about it. It's more than just you and your husband going through it or you and your wife going through it right now. There are a lot of marriages. In fact, we see some statistics out there that are showing that over 30% of marriages weekly are fighting about finances. Which means, if you ask me, finances seem to be one of the number one culprits for divorces.
I mean, if you look at it, money is so intertwined with everything we do. The wedding itself, paying mortgages, debt, student loans, car notes, groceries, all of the above. So it's really ingrained in pretty much most aspects of our lives. So if it's not a peaceful accord, it can cause discord.
It really can. And even some of the best marriages, you hear me, the best marriages struggle. And what we know is that marriage goes through seasons, right?
Oh, it does.
So one season you might be on top making six figures, and the next season, which could be tomorrow, you could be trying to figure out how you're going to put your life back together.
We saw that in oil and gas. Everybody's on the high, a lot of people on the low.
Absolutely. A lot of these industries are very cyclical that we're in. So it behooves us to really take the time to plan for these financial setbacks, storms, whatever it is, getting it ready. So whenever our marriage encounters it, we can keep smoothing, keep sailing
Get you
along.
a financial Cajun Navy.
Come on, Financial Cajun Navy. I love that. But before we go too far into this topic about marriage, let's talk about it from the standpoint for those who may be dating seriously right now, T. Like, what can they start doing right now? If they're dating, they're thinking about this might be the person for me.
Right.
But we haven't really talked about money yet.
So if you are looking to get serious and take it to the next level, take your finances to the next level. So get yourself properly trained in a mental mindset of how are you going to handle your money in your marriage? But it starts at home. So you have to get yourself right before you can get us right.
That's right.
So get your financial house in order now. So one thing we did before we got married, before I really got into financial services, was we sat down with a financial advisor.
So before we even got engaged?
Before we even got engaged. I had to make sure her credit was right,
That's real.
Before she walked into this greatness.
Oh, Lord.
I had to make sure she was worthy. So one thing is make sure that you sit down with a financial advisor or professional and make sure that you have an understanding of how money works, the power of it, what to save, where to save it, when to spend it, things like that. Because that's one of the solid foundations. There's God, there's love, and then there's money as far as the foundation of a strong relationship. Because, if you don't have that together, there's always going to be some kind of strife.
Always.
Can we go out to eat? No, we can't afford it. Can we go on vacation? No, we can't afford it. So there's always going to be a no as opposed to a yes in your bliss. So that's one thing that you want to do. Another question we had when we did a little survey is, what if the other person has a low credit score? Should I still marry them? So a lot of people are quick to say, if you're in the 500s, then you're not worth my time. I would say analyze every situation. Each situation is unique. So you have some people that may have to take care of their family.
Right.
Maybe they lost their job and they had to live on credit cards. Maybe they had to use credit cards to get through college, and now they have a good job and just haven't had the opportunity to build their credit score.
So you're saying give that person at least a chance if they're showing that they want to improve it, that they want to do better.
One, get an understanding of why their credit is messed up, because they could have just been popping bottles and driving cars out their league, things of that nature, shopping. Understand why their credit is messed up, but then if it's something that you believe that they can grow into or increase or improve, then that's something that you can have a conversation with God about, see if that's something a challenge you want to take on.
So let's back it up for a second. What if, like, I'm with somebody, and I know that we really need to talk about finances. In fact, I have a great credit score, but something tells me that he doesn't really have a great credit score, and when I do address it with him, he gets upset.
Well, that might be a telltale sign that might not be the one. So it depends on how you approach him. Right?
Okay, that's fair.
You know, did you call him out in front of his friends, or did you come out of love? You know, hey, this is something that's serious about me. I'm trying to build a wealthy future, and I want to make sure that I'm building with someone that's equally yoked with me, and it's not just religion, but equally yoked financially as well.
Absolutely. That's good.
So make sure that you're on board for that as well. So another one we had, another question we had is, what if they asked me to be a co-signer on a loan? Well, the Bible says don't co-sign for anybody, so there's your answer right there.
Well, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Yes, you know, one of the testaments, old or new, it was in there.
So don't co-sign. So wait a minute, wait. So what if he's in a situation where he really, really needs someone to co-sign? Like, he don't have anybody. He's the only person here in town, his family, nobody. He ain't got nobody to lean on. Like, I'm the only person he can really lean on.
Well, you know, that's one thing that you're going to have to assess. Each situation is different. Now, if they were out there spending money, they just went to Vegas or something like that, now they're coming home and said they need a new car, I ain't got the money, that might be something you want to talk about. Most people are going to look at what is your determination, what is your motivation, what got you in this situation, what are you going to do to get out, and that can inspire you to make a decision that you most likely would not.
I remember you had to buy a car, you know, and I mean, it's almost normal now. People always just,
now she talking about fresh out of college.
Yeah, fresh out of college, my bad. This ain't a recent time. This is before Christ. But anyway, he had to buy a car, and, you know, we were dating, and I naturally probably would have thought he would have asked me to co-sign, because that's what people do, you know. A lot of us are very just kind of flippant about these kinds of things, because, oh, I love him, and we're going to get married, and we're going to do all these great things. But that credit is such a precious commodity. I mean,
and I was part of the first example we talked about. Graduated college, got those credit cards where you sign up, you know, at the table, you get a free T-shirt. This is before I was Mr. Get Your Financial House in Order. This was I was a young buck. So got out of college. Someone actually stole my paid off car, and I found she's giving me a ride to the car dealerships, and they're like, "Hey, sir, your credit is pretty messed up." Sorry, I was a college student. You know, I had to get those new J's. No, I'm just playing.
So I'm sitting there looking at my nails like, I don't know what he's going to do. No.
So I made a way, though.
Yeah, you really did.
I made a way. I worked hard, and I was able to get, not the car of my dreams, but I got a vehicle.
You did. And you know what? I like how you made that point. He maybe wasn't able to get the car of his dreams. And see, a lot of us are thinking that we got to get this, we got to have that, we got to have all the big and nice, like, right now. But what's important to realize is what really matters is your credit score right now. And that you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, and that you don't have to stress at night how you're going to pay the next bill. Like, really, it is time for us to start living within our means so we can really take care of what's important and then grow up to that. It's okay.
Yeah. And it's really important to have a strong foundation. I know that most people want to have the most beautiful wedding in the world, right?
Come on.
And want to pay the most beautiful penny, but at the end of that bill, it's not, at the end of that ceremony, it's not a beautiful invoice.
I'm telling you.
When you add it all
you know what? One of the realest things that Mom shared with me when we got married was, she said, you know, there are people who have long ago divorced that are still paying for their wedding. That was so
still.
Great.
Divorced 5-10 years, still making payments on that Visa card or that line of credit or wherever you had to borrow, paying those invoices after you stop marrying that person. Maybe even marry someone new. So you and your new husband or wife got to make old payments for your old husband and wife.
It's crazy. But it's happening because people are dipping into their 401ks to pay for weddings. Again, everybody, it is only one day.
Lasts about 3 hours.
I mean, on a good night, maybe 5. But at the end of the day, think about it. When people are doing these weddings, if you really are honest with yourselves, the reason why people are going into the hole about these weddings, is it because of me and you, or is it because of them?
It's because of the opinions of others. We want everybody to be like, ooh, that was nice. Oh, that was such good food they had. Did you see the decor? But then after that, I want y'all to take 2 seconds to think about the last wedding you went to. What were the colors? What did you eat?
Ooh.
And what was the last song you heard on the dance floor?
Oh.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
I mean, I know it was a beautiful wedding.
Yeah, it was nice.
But I don't remember all those details.
So with all that being said, the average wedding is around $26,000 to $30,000.
Yes, and up north, like New York and everything, it's 3 times that.
Outside.
Outside.
Yeah, that way. So our wedding, because it looked like it was climbing up there when we first first started meeting people.
Fresh out of college.
Fresh out of college, we start going to all these vendors. Like, how long is this ceremony again?
Y'all, T was gonna take me to the courthouse if we couldn't get it together.
Hey, took it to the courthouse, and
nothing wrong with that.
but her mama wasn't having that. So, but we spent around $10,000 total. So that's everything: the tux, the cake, the ceremony, and the honeymoon. And 10 years later, so 10,000 in 10 years.
Ooh,
look at that. Good job.
But what we're trying to tell you here is, whatever the amount that you decide, some of us are well-to-do, some of us can afford to have a very nice wedding, but whatever it is, be mindful that there is life after the wedding.
Yes, and don't put yourself in a situation to fail financially starting out. You don't want to start your marriage in debt of that significance on top of everything else. So eventually you're going to get a house, you're going to get a car, probably have student loans, then regular life credit cards. So now there's about 5 opportunities for debt to weigh you down and distract your marriage.
That's so real. And I can't tell you how many marriages I hear about of people who are engaged who are trying to plan the wedding, buy the house, getting ready to have a child, all these things to happen in the first year.
Yeah.
That's pretty crucial.
That's a lot.
Like, I know it seems like it's doable and that everybody's doing it, but our advice is that you focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Knock the wedding out.
If
you want to we lived in an apartment the first few years.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, it wasn't.
1-bedroom apartment.
We did what we needed to do. And then after that, we focused on the home and all those things. But just realize that.
But to say that we lived in an apartment, the reason behind that was to save money.
Right.
Because you don't want to go get a $2,000-3,000 a month mortgage where now it's hard to make ends meet.
Right.
And you don't have anything in the bank, because you want to always have at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses in the bank.
Yes.
And going out initially when you're fresh out of college, when most people get married, but for those not fresh out of college, depending on your financial situation, but that's one thing you want to do. And while dating or engaged, you all need to have active conversations. Are you going to be team spending or team saving? So type that in there. Were you team spending or team saving? Hashtag in the Facebook, and let us know which one you were when you first got married and what you are today.
Yeah.
Because I've always been team saving.
We have. And I think that we realized that about each other when we sat down with a financial advisor before we got engaged, before we even started talking about marriage. It was very important to us. Yeah. And so you can avoid a whole lot of this, because sometimes people wait until they get in the marriage and they realize, I didn't know she spent so much. They started noticing all these differences after they got married. And what we're trying to do in making marriage great again is starting to attack these certain, things that can happen in your marriage before marriage.
Absolutely.
So if you are in a serious, committed relationship right now, I challenge you, it behooves you to sit down and really talk about finances before saying I do.
Absolutely. It's called preventative maintenance.
Preventative maintenance is real. So that's how you need to approach money matters when you're dating. Now let's talk about it from the standpoint, we're already married, and we're just recently married. We're in year 1.
Okay.
So
that's a rough year.
Year 1 is the real year. Okay. If you're in year 1 right now, or years 1 through 3 right now, I want you to hashtag year 1 through 3.
We praying for you.
And Facebook, because we will reach out to you personally and send up prayers. It's a transition.
Oh, absolutely.
And with any change and with any transition, there comes some turbulence. So please do not go into year 1 through 3 thinking we're supposed to be enjoying everything about each other and we're supposed to not argue. That's not realistic.
So with that turbulence, not only, we always say this, when you're married, you have 2 different individuals, 2 different personalities.
Right.
But you also have 2 financial backgrounds.
That's true.
So someone's family may have been lavish, used to spending what budget. The other person was, we cutting coupons and counting pennies every other week. So you merge these 2, they kind of collide if you don't have any kind of pre-maintenance. And now you're trying to figure out, now I'm living with someone. They don't pick their clothes up. They won't keep the toilet up for a brother. And they always spending. They always buying red bottoms. I want y'all to know, side note bar, women didn't used to always take pictures with their feet up until them red bottoms came out. Now all of a sudden, it's a requisite.
I mean, when you spend that much money on some shoes, I guess you feel like you need to go ahead and put them in the picture.
They find poses just to keep the feet up. I mean, I guess not. But back to what I was saying. There's a collision of two different financial lifestyles merging together all of a sudden, unless you do their preventative maintenance. So do some pregame.
Absolutely. So the first tip here is to start talking about the finances and discuss bank accounts. First, you got to have that paradigm shift. It is no longer my money, his money, our money.
Yeah. So a lot of people married, and some of y'all that works for y'all, God bless you, still have separate accounts, like totally.
Nothing merged.
10, 20, 30 years in, hey, my check going to mine, her check going to hers, we call it a day. So we have a hybrid system.
Yes.
So my paycheck still from my businesses gets deposited in my account and hers, but we have joint savings and joint bill accounts to where now we put the money in for the house, so we pay our mortgage, our bills out of a joint account, our lifestyle money, so when we go out to eat, groceries, travel, things like that, and then our investments, then whatsoever left over, because we have a detailed Excel sheet budget, whatsoever left over, go have fun. We've taken care of priorities, we paid God, we paid our house note, we paid our bills, we saved and invested. All right, now we get to, enjoy the fruits of our labor.
I found that to really work for us. I remember year one thinking, okay, let's see if this works. I don't know how this gonna go, and a lot of people have that question, is it okay for us to have separate accounts? And the answer to that is yes, but no secret, separate.
And we got something about that in the Sutton stats coming up at the end.
Yes. So know that it's okay to have separate accounts, but
it's not separate but equal.
Now. I won't call it all of that, but what I will say is however you decide to set it up, communicate about it.
Absolutely.
Have each other's passwords. I mean, this is not intended for it to be secret. In corporate America, it can be, I knew what it was going to be check to check.
Steady paycheck.
Right. I knew it was going to be steady to steady, but he needed something that was a little bit more flexible for him. So that's why we set it up that way for all the different accounts. And 10 years later, it still works.
Still working good. So do what's best for you and your family and your household. Just keep in mind that when you have secrets, they always come to light. And when you don't have that openness, there's always that wonder or that doubt or suspicion, especially when things go hard. We had one friend that told us, and he talks about this in his ministry, that one day he and his wife found out they were broke. They couldn't pay the mortgage. I mean, he was making
just out of the blue.
It shocked them. Hey, babe, we're not going to be able to pay the house note this month. And they both making 6 figures.
Wow.
But just was spending recklessly, but they didn't have accountability on each other's finances. So, I thought you were saving. No, I thought you were saving money. Oh, none of us are saving? Oh, we just spending and living life? So, that's why that communication is key on that.
Wow. Ooh, that is scary. And my mom told me also, it does not matter how much you make. There are people who have retired as millionaires who make $40,000 a year.
Yes, indeed.
It is about how much you save.
Yes, indeed.
So the more open communication you have about this, the less strife you will have when those turbulent seasons come up. Yeah. We talked about how Tristen and I both got laid off at the same time. Yeah. We could have went nuts. We could have went ham.
We could have. But God.
But God, and then 6 months later, it was set up.
Come through financial Cajun Navy.
It's real. It's real. We're telling you what we practice. Yeah. Now, in that as well, this can be a touchy subject for some. Some of us wish we would have done better with our finances, and so we're not as open about talking about it. So I encourage you, if you're on the receiving side of that, I encourage you to approach it with sensitivity and say, hey, out of love, we really need to sit down and let's look at our finances together. And that other person may say, okay, initially, but then hope that you forget. So I encourage you to set it up maybe as a calendar reminder.
Yes, indeed. On
their phone or on, whatever your network you have, and really commit to sitting down. Budgeting is not a solo project.
No, it's not. Okay? It's a team effort and a contact sport sometimes.
That's real. But I also encourage you, if you're the one that actually has the great financial position and your spouse doesn't, this is not a time to play the blame game, to point fingers, to do the I told you so, to gripe fuss. It's really not that time. And it can be easy because as you start to look through all them bank accounts and start seeing all that stuff tallying up, you want to be like, how is shit going? Now we only
how
have.
much does weave cost?
But
is that organic coconut oil?
It's so bad. But what we want you to realize here is that you really do not want to take the time to crush your spouse more than you want to take the time to build them up and help them through this.
Right. Use it as a learning activity and a building activity. So obviously, if you see some trends, maybe there's a problem that's going on there, and it might, you're looking at the surface, maybe they have a shopping addiction, but maybe they're not happy. So maybe they're getting their retail therapy on your credit card, and FICA is not happy with that right now.
It can be very, very deep. There are some psychological things that go on behind the scenes with finances, especially if you may be someone who came from nothing. Maybe you were someone who didn't have anything, and then once you got, a little extra $5, now you're making 6 figures, you wilding out. There are a lot of people, a lot of us, in that situation. And so what we have to do is we have to get control of that and really start practicing discipline, because one day, Lord's willing, we will all retire.
Lord.
And you don't want to be like some of the people who sit in front of him who say they want to retire by 50 and they only got $1,000 saved in their retirement account.
Real life. You don't want to retire to be a Walmart greeter. Think about that one.
We want us to realize, most of the people that we're talking to are probably around our age, a little bit older. So we feel like we have all this time in the world to save and do and all those things, but really we will blink and it will be time to retire.
Absolutely. And look at some of the most common ways that money is thrown out of your wallet, right? So what's most common is eating out. So just do the math yourself real quick. Pull out your phone or a piece of paper. Think about how much you spend on average for breakfast, whether that's coffee, muffin, smoothie, etc. Lunch, on average, $9.99 lunch special. Can once you get your iced tea or soda and your tip and taxes, we're looking at $15. Dinner, $15 to $20, depending, etc. So do that times 5 if that's how many times you eat. Then you probably do happy hour once a week. Then you got brunch on Saturday or Sunday. So then add all that up, and then look how much money is going out the window and literally down the toilet, just on eating out. Right.
Again, we're not telling you anything we haven't done before. When he and I budget, we'll ask each other, well, how much do you think we're spending on XYZ? I think, I feel, I believe. That is one number. But then when I, as the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer of the house, actually record, I actually take the time to write down, how much we're spending that week, it's like, okay, so maybe we was off by a couple dollars. It's real. So do not sit up there and just think that you can depend on estimations and guesstimations. Really, when you sit down to do this budget, decide who's going to be the Chief Financial Officer and actually track what you're spending. It is very sobering. It is very sobering. And what I like about it is that it really puts things in perspective and allows you to see, you know what, we do have a little extra money to actually save. Because now you can see where everything is going. But you have to be disciplined in it.
Disciplined and diligent.
It's not an easy task. It's really not. But I tell you, when you start finding that little extra savings, you'll be real glad that you did.
And so another thing is define what your goals are, financial goals for a family. Do you want to retire at 50 or 60? How much money do you want to have liquid cash in an account somewhere? Do you want just your 6 months, or do you want 100,000 liquid so you can start your own business and not have to worry about getting financed? Do you want to pay for your kids' college cash and not have to worry about Sally Mae and whoever they change to now, Navient? So make sure that you all have a picture and then work towards that goal and look how much, and that's where that budget comes into play. Okay, we want to have X amount in so many years. Well, if we have so much money free, each month we can save towards this goal.
I'm going to really encourage you, if you as a couple have not sat down with a trusted financial advisor at least once, I'm going to encourage you to do that. I really, really am.
Don't be scared.
Do not be scared. They don't bite, and yes, they may have a fee or whatever, but what doesn't have a fee these days?
Well, that's a common misconception. A lot of people don't want to meet with someone because they feel like there's a fee or it's going to cost too much. There are a lot of advisors or counselors or professionals that don't charge a fee. They make a commission off any product that you choose to buy, but there's some that don't charge you a fee just to meet with you and come up with a plan.
That's good. I'm glad you clarified that. So there you have it. It's really important that you know what's out there as resources to you, because you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to try to figure out how to put your marriage back together again by yourself. A lot of great resources
Build a
out
team
there.
around you.
Hey, Cajun Navy. So, also remember that it's not always possible to split the household expenses 50-50. So it's okay to have a 60-40 split or a 70-30 split, just depending on who's the breadwinner.
Absolutely.
Everything in marriage is not 50-50, and that includes your finances.
Absolutely.
So keep that in mind. If you're over budget already, like Tristen said, comb through your expenditures and look for ways to save. And you would be very surprised how $25 here and $30 there can add up and be $200 before you realize it, that you can start saving and putting away.
Absolutely. And some of the top ways money is misappropriated is eating out.
Yes.
Expensive cars.
Yes.
Houses that are too big. And travel. And then shopping. So those are some areas that we know everyone in life enjoys and works hard for, but if you find that you don't have any money to save, some of those areas may need to be scaled down a little bit.
Right.
Maybe instead of taking a trip every month or every quarter, maybe you only take 2 for the year.
Right.
Maybe instead of eating out so often, you take lunch maybe twice a day.
Small adjustments.
Small adjustments.
Small adjustments can really, really make a difference when you look at it at the end of the day. You hear us keep saying the S word, and that is save, save.
Oh, I thought it was the S word.
No, not
That's
tonight.
for
That's for another episode.
That's for another.
Right.
But it's tonight though, right?
Making marriage great again. Sitting with the Suttons. We thank you for joining us this hour, your Love Empowerment Hour. And tonight we are talking about how to get your financial house back in order so that your marriage can continue to thrive and move upward. And we just left off with the point of save, save, save.
Yes, we did.
Now, in saving, here are a few ways that you can save. The biggest one that you want to really start working on right now is having a 6-month savings. Look, if you're in corporate America especially, you cannot afford to sit up here and say, oh, I'm going to always have this job and I'm going to be able to retire here. You just never know what's going to happen.
Never.
So now's the time to start saving in that regard. Also starting to save for retirement. There are many different ways you can do that. We encourage you to diversify your portfolio. Don't just put it only in your 401k. There's many other avenues that you can look into. Some high risk, some low risk. If we're talking foreign to you, that means that you need to get a financial advisor and sit down and talk to them. But there are many different ways to start saving and taking care of your family.
In our community, a lot of this sounds foreign, but it's really native tongue to a lot of other cultures.
Yes, it is.
So we need to become more indoctrinated in this type of, more fluent. Go get you a Rosetta Stone for your personal finances. I want to backtrack real quick. We keep saying 6-month safety net. A lot of people may not really understand the nuances of that.
Okay.
What that is you look at all your monthly core living expenses, not travel, etc. How much is your rent on your house note, your car note, your cell phone, your internet, light bill, things like that. Each month times 6 months. That's what you should have in a liquid savings account or credit union, something to that effect, that you have easy access to in case you need emergencies. And unfortunately, let's look at Harvey. So let's look at some business owners. A lot of them have been impacted and can't generate income. That's where that 6-month safety net for your business or your individually will come in, so you can continue to pay your bills and not have to rely on lines of credit cards, or things like that. So that's what we mean by 6-month safety net. Your core living expenses each month times 6.
That's it. That's it. And while we're talking about that in saving, you really want to take the time to set up your bank account, if you can, to have everything done automatically. Okay? If you have to put your hands on it somewhere, something is going to go missing. So what we have is we have all reoccurring automatic drafts that come out of our check that takes care of everything. Because you're bound to miss something. You're bound to forget about something, paying someone. So if you put everything on auto pay, even your savings, if you have $200, $300 coming out of a check to save, put it on auto. So you don't even have to worry about it. You don't have to discipline yourself, none of that stuff.
Same with your bills, that way you can avoid those late fees, overdraft fees, because those add up.
Ooh, they add
those
up.
can be a leak in your bucket as well.
Yes. Ooh, overdraft fees. I know y'all know about overdraft fees.
Yeah, they do.
So also in saving, start saving for retirement now. I actually know people who said, while they were young, I don't need it right now. I don't need to save for retirement. Now, the minute you get a job, sign up for that retirement. And please, if they have a matching 401k program,
take that money.
Take that money.
Break it up.
Break it up. Diversify your portfolio. We talked about that. In other words, just don't put all your eggs into one basket. Now, also with saving, we also encourage you to give.
Tell them what you mean by that.
And what I mean by that is that we're not just here on this earth to accumulate. Okay? what we encourage you to do is, if you are a believer, whatever church you decide to go to, tithe into that church. Or if there's an organization, a nonprofit organization that you love to give to as a couple, give. Yeah. If there's an elderly couple or elderly person around the corner from you who needs groceries every now and then, give.
Harvey victims.
Give. As much as you can, and sometimes it's going to be a stretch. Sometimes the Suttons don't have it all the time. But we see a need, and we try to move in and meet that need. And that's really what life is about. So while you're saving and taking care of your family, there are others out here who need you as well. So if you have it to spare, give it.
And be subtle about it. The Bible says that no one loves the person shouting in the streets about their charity and things of that nature. So if you're going to give with humility, the same spirit as Christ.
That's it. So save, give. And again, our first tip here, I know that was long there, was to start talking about finances and discussing your bank accounts. And the second tip was write down goals and design a budget. Now, he talked about how we use Excel. There are many different ways you can go about,
we just old school with it. There's some apps out there called Mint, QuickBooks, things like that. So if you just do a Google search on budgeting apps, and a lot of your banks offer you opportunities to see what you're spending. They'll give you spending reports based on your checking accounts, credit cards, and things like that. So it's not touch screen.
Y'all technology.
Technology. So that's something you can check out. Most of them offer it for free, so that's one thing you can look at as well.
Yeah. So,
real quick though, are y'all liking this? Are y'all liking this dialogue and this conversation? The nuggets we're dropping. If you're liking it, chances are someone like you will like it as well. So be sure to share this video, tag your friends. But don't ruin no marriages tonight. So.
Please share. You just never ever know. We address this all the time. Social media makes you think that everybody is balling out of control, and that is not the case.
It's not.
A lot of families, a lot of marriages are suffering and hurting right now because they just can't get a hold on their finances. So we're hoping that this dialogue is helping address that.
Because once they realize that there may be a cause of a lot of strife, they can come together, come up with a plan, and empower each other to be a little bit more better in those financial areas of their lives.
Absolutely. Well, as you all know, we love to see what the stats are out there. We want to back it up with some facts. So let's go and back it up, T.
Oh, back it up.
Huh.
Break it up. That's for later. So,
what's going on with Sutton stats?
In the name of Jesus. All right, so some Sutton stats. Did some research. Ameriprise, a good, strong financial institution, provided this information. 73% of individuals have money management styles that are different from their partners. Meaning that 73% of people, half of them may be spenders, half of them may be savers. So there's totally different mindsets and philosophies on money when they enter into a marriage. So keep that in mind when you're out there dating and get engaged. 31% of all couples, even the happiest ones, clash over their finances at least once a month. So some of the most common points of disagreement are major purchases. We gonna get this big house or we gonna get this little small house? Well, I want a big house. Well, you ain't got no kids fill up this house yet. Cars, things like that. Decisions about finances and children. Are we gonna have one kid? We're gonna have 5 kids. You know how much it costs to put kids through college, daycare, diapers, and all that good stuff?
We encourage you to be realistic if you're in that season of rearing a family. I know what your parents had. I know your great-grandmama had 12 children. I get it. And great-grandmama had all them children because she had a farm and had chickens and cows and stuff to raise.
Oh, no.
But you gotta be realistic and understand. I think I saw an average. What was that average lifetime spend on a kid? Was it something like
it's
200, 300,000?
150, 200,000.
It keeps going up.
Break it down because a daycare on average is going to be around 1,000. You got food. You got, I don't know how much clothing costs.
Diapers.
You got diapers. You got their birthday party. They got to go to somebody's birthday party.
They eventually grow up. They got to be in sports.
Yeah. All the extracurriculars add up. So just keep that in mind when budgeting. And you getting ready to buy this house and these expensive cars, all of a sudden, 1,000 for car note, 1,000 for daycare, things like that. So keep those future expenses in mind if you plan on having children.
Yeah.
All right. The third most common point of disagreement was the partner spending habit. So, I mean, if she out here always buying all this natural hair care product, y'all ain't got nothing in the budget, I'm just playing. So, keep that in mind. Also, important investment decisions. So, what are we going to invest in? How much are we going to invest? Are we gonna go with your financial advisor? What about my cousin? They do this.
To the we. Now look here. Look, it's important that you all both feel comfortable on who you allow into the most private parts of your marriage, and your finances is one. I do not encourage you to have family members up off of that, but if you both agree to that,
I mean, because that can make Thanksgiving and Christmas a little awkward.
Just a little bit.
Especially at Christmas when you give them the gift and it's like, I know what you got.
Just a little bit. And you know what? Since we're talking about family, let's address something that really happens more than what we realize. And that is families needing loans. Family members needing you to break them off a little $5. And, you know, I get a call from my cousin and she needs, you know, me to help her out with $500. And, I mean, I have it, but do we have it? Have we discussed that?
That depends on which cousin. If we have it.
Our point here is that it is important that you involve each other when it comes to family members needing these loans, because here's the deal. You got a few decisions that you can make. Number one, you can decide we're not giving out any loans. We're just giving it as a gift.
That's
they
the
can
most
keep
simple
it.
way.
I don't want to have to worry about them paying me back, because that's what brings a lot of discord. Now, that's one way. If you have it to give, you just decide to give it and be done.
Because there's nothing worse than lending somebody some money. 6 months later, they got a whole new outfit, but ain't paid you a penny back.
Or on Facebook, as soon as I give you that $500, I see you done went off and went on vacation. You know.
Talking about she needed to pay your light bill.
That can start a lot of nonsense. And y'all know what we're talking about. Some of y'all dealing with that right now. Okay? So that's one option that you have. So go ahead and just give it to
time. I'm reclaiming my dime.
Hashtag reclaiming my dime. I love it.
My dime.
But the second option that you have is to actually make that a loan, but put it in writing. What you're loaning.
And charge them interest.
And, y'all, Tisa. Look, putting it in writing, deciding and agreeing upon when we're going to pay, or when this person's going to pay us back, and having everybody sign. Because I'm going to tell you something. I watch Judge Judy every day. And every day, somebody in there talking about somebody owed them some money back, and Judge Judy trying to see if it's in writing. And if it's not, I don't know what to tell you. So please be fiscally responsible, even when it comes to your family members outside of your immediate family, because not only do marriages fall apart behind finances, but families fall apart
and
behind
friendships.
And friendships. Be wise.
Be wise. Another set of sudden stats. Creditcards.com reports 1 in 5 Americans in a relationship say they have spent $500 or more and not told their spouse.
Wait a minute. So
run
so
that
back
back.
it up.
Run that back. 1 in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 out of 5 have spent $500 and not told their spouse about it on something that's a non-bill or pertinent to the family. And 6% maintain secret accounts or credit cards. What y'all got on them cards?
Let's talk about real quick, why do we have these secret accounts? Because I know some of y'all was raised, your mama told you, look, have you a little something on the side, because you just never know if he might decide to leave you. And I get it.
Some of them call it that exit money, that exit plan.
That plan B?
That Brexit account.
It's real. But the truth of the matter is that if we're going to have trust, if our marriage is going to be built on trust here, you know, all cards need to be on the table.
All credit cards, pun intended,
need to be on the table.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So don't not share that information with your spouse. MyFinancialAwareness.com says 3 internal reasons people allow finances to sabotage their marriage are either he or she overspends the budget because they feel they have no power. So it's one of those internal things. They go out and spending. It's that retail therapy, or they go out and purchase things because at home they feel powerless. Wow. So that's their way of getting that euphoria, that warm and fuzzy, because now I'm in charge while I charge this card. Wow. Second one is lack of self-worth around not having a low net worth.
Say it again.
Lack of self-worth around having a low net worth. Wow. Keeping up with the Joneses, all this stuff on social media, Facebook, Instagram. They got a new car, they got a new dress, they got new shoes, etc. So you allow that to come into your household and mess your budget up, mess your spending habits up.
I think that happens a lot.
Oh, it does.
A whole lot.
It does. So many people out there trying to keep up with these social media Joneses is what I'll call them. Hashtag that, keeping up with the social media Joneses. It's long. But you can't worry about what they have because you don't know what they have. So they may have an inheritance. They may have bonuses at work where they treat themselves and they splurge throughout the year. So you see them constantly buying something. But
or you don't know if they're using that credit card.
Or the credit card.
Most are.
You don't know what the situation is. So don't look at what's going on across the grass, because that grass might be turf. With a 29% APR and a 500 credit score. Oh, preaching on that. That's awful.
That is so real.
And so the third one was fear of not having enough money. So that fear caused contention in the relationship, and every little thing caused strife because they were always worried about not having enough money.
Wow.
So what's the sudden stats?
I'm really big about this. I'm really big about looking at the root issue. You know, a lot of times we diagnose the symptoms, but we never really look at the why behind the action.
Yeah.
And the fact that a lot of this sounds to be psychological.
Yeah.
It sounds like first we need to really sit down and address some of these preconceived notions or some of these bad habits, some of these things that we've grown up on before we can actually start tackling the Excel spreadsheet.
That's why it goes back to, we talked about pre-gaming or preventative maintenance. Have a conversation. What are your thoughts on money? How do you treat credit? How do you treat spending and savings? And that way you have that open forum to get an idea of who you are and who they are as well.
Right. I hope that you're enjoying this conversation tonight. I hope that it's helping either you or someone else that you know. Please, please, please share this information, share the video. You just never know who needs to hear this kind of information tonight, especially after going through such a rough time here in Houston. A lot of people, if they were not properly positioned with insurance and savings, they're having a hard time right now, and they're having some tough conversations. So this information is needed.
I want to say something tough right now. Yes, I sell insurance, but you don't have to get it through me. We are not through flood season yet, and there are storms still brewing.
Right.
Get flood insurance right now if you have the means to do so, and it's very imperative. So a lot of the strife that's caused right now is because people didn't have flood insurance and didn't feel that they needed it, and a lot of areas weren't in a flood zone that flooded. Right. So going forward, now that we see that anybody can be touched by this water, get flood insurance. If you're in a preferred zone or a non-flood zone, it can probably cost $300, $400 for the year, not a month, for the year.
Houston, it is raining right now. In fact, we were on our way to the studio to do our show tonight, and we skirt on back around to the house where you see us right now because the water was already rising. We are still in the middle, like you said, of hurricane season. So please take care of your families, position yourselves. And while we're talking about insurance, you all know that Tristen is a professional in this area, so we're trying to give you some of the information. And again, you don't have to go through him, just go through someone. But part of your savings plan and also positioning your family is getting life insurance.
Ooh, Team No Fish Place.
Y'all remember Team No Fish Place.
Team No
it's
Fish
still
Place.
in full effect.
So once again, I'll say don't have to be through me, but get life insurance outside of work. If you're married, looking to get married, this is very pertinent because you want to leave a legacy, right? And you don't want to put yourself in a position where you only have it through your job, because guess what? Eventually you're going to leave your job for several reasons. You're going to retire. Guess what? It doesn't go with you when you retire. You're going to leave and start your own business. It doesn't go with you. So yes, it's cheap and you get as much as you can, but once you leave, guess what? You're probably 10, 20, 30 years older than when you first got it. And guess what? It's going to be 10, 20, 30 times more expensive, more than likely, to go out there and get it on the open market once you leave. So everybody say this with me. The insurance on your job does not go with you.
The insurance on your job does not go with you.
So get your own. And that way you lock in your rate, you lock in your insurability. Because right now we may be healthy, but 5, 10, 15 years from now, what if I'm diagnosed with something and I'm uninsurable? And so now I'm married with kids and I'm getting ready to go to the upper room sooner than I expected. And now I don't have any life insurance because I can't work because I'm ill. And now my family doesn't have their savings. So that's why it's important to get that life insurance, to lock in your insurability, and you lock in your rate at today's age. Because as you get older, it gets more expensive. So get life insurance outside of work.
Life insurance, flood insurance. That is your homework assignment for this week. Before we end, we need for you to have called your financial representative and your insurance representative and get these things in place. You will be so glad that you did. I guarantee you. I promise you that. So, our third and final tip here is track your spending and have weekly money meetings.
Yes.
Okay?
You can call them family meetings, team huddles, but just have a brief meeting. Hey, how do we do on spending this week?
Right. We wild out.
Yeah, we made it rain. Rack it up. So that way we know going into next week, hey, maybe we need to eat out a little bit less. Maybe we need to do one less Sutton in the city.
Hey, we real too. We're a real couple. Yeah. We need to scale back sometimes in things too. So that's what we're trying to tell you is that first of all, the things that we're advising you about is what we do. And second of all, every marriage at one point or another goes through this season. So it's really important that you're realistic about it before it comes. So when it is here, you know exactly what to do. It's the preventative maintenance, like Tristen said.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So in that, you want to make sure that you're communicating in a way where you're being productive in your communication.
Absolutely.
I can't say it enough. Finances are a very, very touchy subject. We're all human beings. We all like to think that we do things the right way. But the truth of the matter is that sometimes we need our coattail pulled. Hey, and we in managing your finances. Don't just leave the burden to your spouse to figure it all out.
Right.
That's not what you want to do.
It's a team effort and a context.
Absolutely. Don't play the blame game.
This is a perfect time where out of love comes in play.
Yes.
Hey, babe, check the account. Saw you spend all the money. Out of love, I need you to not do that.
And what have we told you about out of love? In the out of love setting, you cannot get upset. You cannot go off. All you can do is respond back, I understand what you're saying. I didn't intend to do that, but yes, I do need to be more diligent.
You intended to swipe that card.
I mean, but when I did it, I didn't think that much was going to come off. I got the 9 and the 6 backwards. But whatever it is, take the time to acknowledge that, hey, I was at fault. That's my bad. I'm going to fix it next time and move on. Yeah. Don't harbor in it. Don't fester in it. That's what makes it worse.
Yeah, don't sit there and toil over it.
Right. Beat yourself up about it. Let's see. We're doing real well here. Remember your vows, okay? Mm-hmm. For richer or poor.
Richer or poor.
Rich or poor. And remember, marriages sometimes go from rich to poor and vice versa.
Because you love the person, not the things, right?
That's it. So for those of us who are dating right now, ladies, and we're looking at those bank accounts and the big house and the cars, just realize that there may be an or for poor.
The 3 6s a day?
Oh, well, come on. Remind them.
6 pack, 6 foot tall, and 6 figures.
Hey, they all sound lovely.
Yeah.
But what we're telling you is just know that, especially when you get married, marriage is in seasons, and there will be transitions, and there will be highs and lows. Yeah. But it's very important that you remember why you married this person, and it should not have been for the 3 6s.
Because those 6 figures can turn into 4 figures real quick. Life is real.
Well, we hope that this has helped. We're almost at the end of our hour here. Again, you're watching Tristen and CC with Sitting with the Suttons, and we just hope that you will join us in making marriage great again and sharing the positive news about marriage.
Absolutely.
The truth of the matter is that marriage is a lot of fun. You've heard us say before, sometimes it feels like we're just 2 college kids, in our dorm room, just making it happen. But as we're doing that, we're also working very, very, very hard to keep the foundation intact.
Absolutely.
And to keep each other encouraged and motivated and inspired. Because the truth of the matter is that as a household, we have a mission. Yeah. But even as individuals, we have a mission as well.
Absolutely.
And what we don't want to stand in the middle of it is finances, the burden of it.
Yeah. Trying to get these racks.
Racks on.
Secure the bag.
Let's show a little bit of love to our Facebook livers here. We got quite a few. I see Key is in. Hey, Key Hampton.
Key Hampton makes ashy donuts. We got Tarika Williams.
So horrible.
Brother Eric Coleman.
Hi,
my
Eric.
high school teacher. Hey, Chase McGee, who doesn't smile. Erica Kelsaw. Hey, Millie. Got Ivana. What's going on, Lionel? Kyra the Hardwick.
Dr. Hardwick.
Miss Barbara Henderson. Kate Kubarko said he was asking if we're talking about term life insurance. You can get term life insurance and whole life insurance. It's best to have that combo pack because term goes away. That whole life is for your whole life. So it's going to build cash value and things like that. So talk to somebody about that. Sharita Clark. Hey, what's going on? Yep, there's renter's insurance and things of that nature.
Oh, it looks like there's a workshop happening.
Yep, we got Jay Owens. Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
Jimmy got the root of all evil. He got racks of money. And he's single, ladies.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, what's going on?
Who else we got?
We got Philip, Tony Jackson, Shamari, John Johnson. Thank y'all all for tuning in. Hey, Chandel. All right, got Miss Lysacia Curtis. So thank you all for tuning in. All those who tuned in or watching now, share this video so everyone else that on your timeline or your news feed can hear this message about making marriage great again and making your finances great again as well.
That's it. Well, that completes this Love Empowerment Hour. And as you all know, we never like to leave our hour without giving our affirmation, without stating words of life over our personal situations, as well as our marriage. So,
it's time.
Everyone will raise their right hand.
Let's go. Today, I will commit to being a better person than I was yesterday.
Today, I will be open and honest with myself.
Today, I will be a better communicator.
Today, I will rid myself of negative views of dating and marriage.
Today, I will do my part in making marriage great again.
Again, we want to thank you for joining us on this hour. You can catch us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. here at Tristen and CC. Normally, we are at Synergy Radio Network, but tonight you're joining us here in the Sutton Manor, and we thank you. We hope you're safe and dry.
Yes, indeed.
And we hope you have a great rest of the week and a beautiful weekend. I think this rain is supposed to bring a little sunshine.
I think so.
And maybe some more cool air for us.
Indeed, indeed.
So have a good one.
All
Take
right.
care and be